Now kind of at this,
Yeah,
you know,
with all the bureaucracy.
mixed in some of the Elven Gold. It's not quite pure Elven Gold yet. I'm going to switch over to this. This is thrash metal. I don't really know how to describe it. It's it's something. It's just kind of it's a paler highlight. It's actually you start getting kind of close to what that the Vallejo Model Air Gold is like. This is kind of a pale highlight. So I'm going for more of like a. It's not. I don't necessarily want like a bright gold finish on this guy. So this is going to give me a little bit more of a pale highlight. So I'm gonna work that in. It's not. And yeah, these the scale 75 stuff. If you haven't used them before, when they first come out,
that's a good thing.
When you first get them, they're sealed. So you don't turn upside down and try and squeeze real hard for them to pop, because you just got to poke them with a little toothpick to get them out, and they separate quickly. So definitely got to give them a lot of shaking up when you're before you use them each and every time. Some of them separate faster than others. I feel like some of the darker colors are a little better at hanging around. But kind of while I'm working on this is another figure that I did. This is one of my attempts at non-metallic metal. I had this is an OSL piece, so I really wanted to control where the light was coming from. So on the dagger and the handle, I tried to do some non-metallic metal on there. So trying to get that high contrast, those transitions, but as you can pass it around.
You don't like that piece, do you?
No.
Did you use real wood on the base?
Yeah. The trees are all sticks and stuff.
Spiderwebs?
Yeah, that's Uhu glue.
Yeah.
UHU. Real nice for the spider webs. But it has more of a, and I'm not by any means an expert on metal. That's one of my earlier attempts. But it kind of has more of a cartoony look almost, because it doesn't, when you're looking at it in a picture, it looks fine. But in person, as you move it, it stays put. So it's this very different feel, in person.
It's a cool little figure. What line is that from?
That's from Andrea. Andrea
Okay.
Miniatures. It's part of their
Fantasy.
Dark Sword fantasy line. So it's a 75 or a 35 or 54 1/35 54 millimeter scale piece. But of course it's a Hobbit, so you're still at about 35 millimeters. But yeah, that figure came with two different hand options. One is just an open hand, and then there's the lantern. What's more interesting? The lantern, obviously, so kind of drew up the whole piece.
It's going to be harder to paint. The lantern.
Yeah,
Light effects.
but it keeps it interesting, right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting though with and you go to shows and you'll see some really well done non-metallic metal, and it's still just in pictures versus in person. It looks different, and it's because in pictures you expect it to just stay where it is, but in person you don't necessarily. You want to as you move around and the light hits at different angles, you want to see it change. So it has a very different feel. And from the
That mess up a lot.
yeah.
But if you look at really well done non-metallic metals like Jim Haley's or Nico Reimers,
Yeah.
they look good no matter how you look at it. It's just amazing.
Yeah, they gotta work at every angle.
But that again, it's very touchy. Like you gotta have it just right. But you only get there from doing it. So
Yeah.
and messing up.
Practice.
Fair, so I can do my decaling and stuff without the wing in the way. But on real thing, you would have
So now as I get into this lighter tones, getting closer to that pure thrash metal, I'm doing more edge highlights, trying to pick up these little surfaces along the sides of the armor. Kind of any of the edges there and catch that light.
All the characters
Upper surfaces.
different That would be great.
More interesting.
That's tough to do.
Huh. So now I'm just going over to the pure thrash metal. This is my lightest tone. Try to pick out those
I like
top
that
highlights.
figure.
Yellow one.
That's a neat guy.
He painted for
However, they're not,
young miniature box.
I have two.
And I was inspired by
So on the kind of the outside surface, I'm trying to highlight down towards that angle where it it hits, and then the other side I'm highlighting away from the angle. So you'll get that nice contrast, that nice change there, and then just hitting some of these little edges on the sides of the plates and along the top. It's got a few like little nicks and gashes in the plate, so I'm then highlighting the bottom of those gashes.
That's very interesting.
Again, sort of just edges that'll catch the light. And then just a little bit on the reverse side. I don't want to do too much of this light tone. Just a little bit in there.
Thank you so much.
Bridge there.
That's what
So-
I used to listen to books on tape when I was painting, and it was a really good way.
Right.
So that's the quick version of just purely working from dark up to light. Now I'm probably not going to bother on this figure, but on a larger figure, once I get to this stage, I would then go in and do some glazes. You can do it with inks, you can do it with matte colors. I do the Vallejo glaze medium's nice, and I'll use those to then sort of work back into the shadows. You can do some tints onto the color, but with metallics, the shadows can get overpowered very quickly. So sometimes it kind of helps to go back and sort of back and forth, reinforce, and then re-highlight. Some other figures. This is not glued on, so but this is one I did. Now that one I did with the Vallejo Model Air. So that was using the Reaper bronze. And then this is my highlight tone. We're just trying to pick out those surfaces. And that one I would then do more, some larger metallic surfaces. So I'm going to go back in and do more glazing on. Here's another metallic, figure that it's not a lot of metal in him. But again, on the sword, he's got that groove cut through the sword. So trying to do a real light metallic on the bottom edge to get that highlight, darker colors inside the groove. But it's you're using metallic paint, so it has that light effect. But you're also trying to take more of an active role in I want the shadows to stay here, and I want the highlights to be here.
It's a technique question. You don't unload your brush. You go right from the paint to the figure. Do you do that even with when you're doing solid colors?
I do that a lot, but a lot of also when I'm using it on the brush, and you kind of see what I'm doing is as I'm putting in the paint, I'm
dragging
it. So I'm kind of unloading it as I on the palette itself. If I just get right in there, I'm going to get a giant glob, and then I'm going to want to come in here and do that, or I'll do it on my
Sure.
I'll have paint all over my thumb by the time I'm finished painting. So I'll do it. But normally, kind of just on the palette, I'm dragging from the side of the palette as I get my paint.
So you don't keep an unload sheet, like a white sheet or anything? To
No, I'll do it on here. Especially when I'm doing glazes and stuff like that. You dip in the glaze and you gotta unload it somewhere. So I'll just touch it along the paper towel. And then here's another partially done figure, but this is all done with those the scale 75 metallic paints.
Part of it's training your eyes to see what's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
That's the whoa.
Yeah, he's heavy. He's metal. I haven't had a chance to actually finish him yet, but it's just even on large scales, nice. You get some nice blends, nice transitions. That was one of my earlier experiments. After I got him, I'm like, okay, I need to paint something metal. There's a good armor that I can work on.
Not really, although.
But I mean, they're nice on small surfaces, nice on big surfaces. You know, as far as acrylic, you know, water-based metals, these are my favorite. Followed up by, you know, just any other airbrush metal. If you're willing to go into alcohol-based, you got a lot of other options. But it's you know, you're then
Alcohol-based ones, what do you use for cleanup? Do you spirits?
yeah.
I don't, I try not to stretch it, I try to lay it down.
And then
Sounds like a headache.
It is. And that's why basically these are all more or less full. You know, I got them. I'm not like, oh, I really want to see them. I want to experiment with them.
How do they paint?
They're real nice. I mean, they're, you know, you
And
can.
then you gotta lick your brush once.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's lacquer.
But just I mean,
Yeah.
or the lacquer, yeah, or wherever it's, you know, I got the Mr. Hobby, you know, thinner. They're you know,
In which
they're-
case you want to use lacquer thinner on those. Yeah, that's a lacquer.
There's a company called Renaissance Ink that it's some random off-brand. I guess all their normal colors are crappy, but their gold is the best gold you ever use. And I like it because in commission painting, you gotta go fast, so coverage is key, and it covers in one hit. But it's super thin. But in the container, it's really thick. It's weird. It's like a paste. And then you just put a little water on it, and it paints perfectly. But that's another one of those weird things where like that's the only color I have from that brand. I buy tons of it.
So, and that's kind of, I tried to have a quick talk, not drag on and on. But I mean, I got a couple of examples and that sort of shows around, but it's just, you know, again, with the non-metallic, or the true metallic metal, we're trying to do these metallic effects, so trying to get, you know, edge highlights, you know, any sort of place there's like the little gaps, trying to do little highlights and those little vents on the bottom of the vents. You know, kind of did a little bit of a, you know, spot highlight there on the shin.
Right.
You know, you're just taking more of an active role in where those highlights and shadows are.
You can also use it to force where the viewer looks on the model.
Yeah, you know, often going up towards the face or towards something.
I like making things disappear because I'm like, I don't like that part of the model. Just make it go away.
Yeah. And that's also why I mean, like I like doing some of the matte colors for the shadows. So, you know, because if you know, even a dark, if I just do the pure dark gold, if there's a light in the room somewhere and it's, you know, shining and it hits that gold, it still lights up because it's still a metallic paint. And all of a sudden that dark area is, you know, super bright, and you just, so, you know, with the matte colors, that's why I like kind of, it helps take the shadows down a little bit and drag those back where I want them.
So like on this guy, you have a really old, it looks like really old weathered metal.
Yeah.
Is the little color nuances that are all over the place, that's just like glazing out to the fact?
Yeah, going in. Yeah, and that might do a lot of glazing as well. So you know, I built up the shadows the same way, sort of starting dark, going to light, and then, you know, just it gets a little too bright in places, and you want some other colors in there.
Then you put the freehand on somewhere in the middle of the whole process.
Sorry, what was that?
The little freehand pattern.
Oh,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So that was like in the middle of the process, and then you just continue glazing and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then he's got some weathering pigments on him, and kind of a dusting all
Right.
tied together. And I'll talk about that in another tutorial. And then same thing, italics on these guys, and these have, you know, a little less metal on there, but on the barrel of the rifle, you know, kind of going from light to dark, just getting some transitions in there. You know, just something going on, you know, not just all the same shades, some visual interest. But that's, I mean, just the Scale 75 stuff.